Oh, well, there it's on now. We're all right, lovely. The reason I record it is I never know what I've said. So it's great. I get now on the way home, I can listen to it and find out and learn something. Anyway, let me give you a little bit of advice. Who's ever read a book and thought it was rubbish, and then the next day they bump into a load of people that have read the same book and they say, "Oh, it was terrific"? Who's ever had that happen? No one? This could be hard work. No, or have you seen a film and you thought, "That's absolute rubbish," and the next day everyone's going, "Oh, it was a brilliant film." Okay? Now that means that you're in the wrong place for learning. Okay? Now, one or two people in here at the moment are thinking, what can that silly old bastard up there with the grey hair and the beard do to help me in my life? And you're going to be saying, come on, impress me. Right? Now, I'll give you a little tip. Okay? Unwind, have a listen, and then at the end if it's a load of rubbish, tell me. But get yourself ready and in the place of learning, because what I've got for you today is exciting, because it is the perfect recipe for success. So, who's ready to listen? And who's going to give me a chance and then come and tell me it's rubbish at the end? Lovely. Let's get started. Okay, so who's in business? Everyone in business. Who'd like to have a better business? Okay. 10 minutes from the end, guys, I'm going to give you the perfect recipe for success. Now, this is going to work in your life and it's going to work in your business. But where does it all start? I'm called the mindset technician because I've spent 25 years of my life studying what makes us do what we do. But the biggest study was what makes us not do what we should do, okay? And that is because we've all had our brain muddled. When you arrive here as a newborn baby, guess what? You have got the perfect plan. Up here in your head, when you arrive as a newborn baby, is the perfect recipe for success. And if we were left to our own devices, we'd all be a raging success. The same as everything else in nature. Nothing else in nature needs the guidance that we think that we need, with our children and what have you. Oh, don't do that. And we stop in the learning process. We only learn to cry because mum and dad pick us up. No, didn't. We wouldn't cry. You see a newborn baby, so if they fall over and you go, oh God, he's cracked his head, and he gets up because that's part of the learning process. But we get that knocked out of us, right? So we spend the first 20 years of our life buggering up the thing that's meant to give us the information to teach us how to get through life. Is that making any sense? So we're all dealing with a damaged bit of equipment, okay? So what I intend to do is to tell you how to switch it on, how to get into it, and how to use it to your advantage, okay? So, you've had it mucked up, and a lot of well-intentioned people have had, come in if you want, there's plenty of seats, a lot of well-intentioned people have mucked your program up, not least of all mum and dad. And no one is doing it to harm you. They all think they're helping you. They say, don't do this, don't do that, when you should be doing this and that to learn, because we only learn by our mistakes, right? Then we bump into teachers at school. Now the greatest thing that you've got going for you is your ability to daydream and imagine the future, right? That is the greatest thing. That's one of the biggest parts of my secret to success, that you can visualise the future, right? But we all say, that's impossible. Well, what happens when you go on holiday? In the old days, when I was a youngster, they used to have a brochure. You go on the internet now, don't you? Click, 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 click. What's that? Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Then you make a decision. I'm going there for my holiday. The minute you give your deposit or part with your money, where are you now positioned? On holiday, right? Now, when you start thinking about your holiday, do you start thinking of all things that can go wrong while you're on holiday? Oh, I hope it don't rain. You just got the ability to look, transport yourself into the future, relax and enjoy your holiday. Is that true or not? So you can look into the future. But what we do when someone says to you, well listen, make a vision of where you want to be, what do? Oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? Same as your holiday, just let it unfold. Leave yourself into that place, right, of enjoyment. So, when you actually go on holiday, you arrive and you start relaxing, okay? So you arrive at the airport, you go through customs, get your tickets, passport stamped, get on the plane, and as you get on the plane, my tip was gin and tonic, nice large gin and tonic, lovely. And you're sitting on the plane, this is good. And you start relaxing, okay? You get off at the other end, you go through the control, pick your bags up, and then who's had this? You know it's the only thing. When you get on holiday and the doors open at that airport, and it smells like a holiday, doesn't it? The lovely warm air and everything, and all of you get really relaxed. And the next day, you get up and you put on your lovely board shorts and a nice bright shirt, nothing like this, something a bit bright and loud, you know, so you're going to really make a statement. And you go marching up the high street, Malaga High Street or Barcelona High Street, wherever you are, and what's happening? Look round. What's happening? What's different? Everyone's got a smile on their face, right? So that actually makes you feel better, okay? So there's a simple little thing. When you've got a smile on your face, smile at me and try and think horrible thoughts. It's impossible. Everyone smile and try and think of something horrible. You can't do it, right? Yet we don't smile enough, do we? You're even resisting it now. Go on, that's it, lovely, right? When you smile, right, there's an automatic, I don't know what happens, but it's impossible to think of horrible thoughts when you're smiling, but we don't do it enough. I drive my wife mad because I'm always smiling, right? Drives her insane. Anyway, so the brain. We're now walking up Malaga High Street or Barcelona, or wherever you go to your holiday, the Caribbean, wherever it is, and you go and there's the pool. You go and grab the only lounger that hasn't got a German towel reserved in it, and you lie on it. And then what happens? You lie there. Now listen, are you with me so far? You're lying there by the pool, it's lovely and warm. What's happening in the bonds? Wonderful things are happening because you're thinking all the worries are back home, they're gone. They don't exist anymore. You're lying there, it's lovely and sunny. And then your mind now is the closest you can get it to when you were a child. It's relaxed and it's working on autopilot. And then your business is working perfectly while you're on holiday because you're thinking about it, going, yeah, I think I'll do that. And when I get home, I'll do this. And yeah, I think I might open another branch. All those wonderful ideas float in. Who's had that when they're on holiday? All the ideas, okay? But next time you go on holiday, take a notebook. Because every single one of those ideas makes sense, but you suppress it. As soon as you get back into the real world, head down, bum up, back into the reality, you forget all the things that happened on holiday, right? But every single one of those ideas was a good idea, and every single one of those ideas came from a place of relaxing. Now, here's the funny thing. Let me just explain. I normally have one of those things that fits around my head, but they didn't have one today, so I feel a little bit... Right, so let me just show you. This is my representation of the brain. Okay? This is your conscious, right? And the rest of it is your subconscious. And I always get into an argument with people about how much is conscious and how much is unconscious. But for the purposes of Croz's teachings, we're going to say 10%. Okay? No one should be offended by saying 10% of your brain we use as our conscious mind. Right. So, you've been on holiday and all the rest of your brain has been working perfectly, coming up with ideas and giving you solutions to problems, right? When you haven't been thinking about it. But when we get back into the real world, what do? We stay in here, okay? We stay in the conscious part of our brain that doesn't work, right? It doesn't work properly because we're trying to tell it what to do. And all the ideas that are coming out of the part of your brain that works perfectly when you just let it work, we're ignoring the information, okay? So here's a little secret. Your brain is a computer. Did you know that? It is a computer, and it's possibly, well it is, without reservation, the most powerful computer on earth. Are you proud? That's sitting in your head. The most powerful computer on earth is sitting in your head. Great, how's that make you feel? Right? But a computer works on what we call a binary system. Who knows what a binary system is? No, well, I'm going to educate you then. A binary system is yes, no. I think in computers it's 1 and 0. So what happens is with a computer is you put the information in and it goes, asks itself questions. It goes, yes, no, yes, 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 no, 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 no. And it comes up with an answer by just asking 2 simple questions, yes or no. Now, as human beings, as I said, we've spent 20 years mucking our brain up, haven't we? So how clever are we? We've got the biggest computer ever built sitting in our head, and every one of us has, unless you've got brain damage or anything, you're not using it correctly, and you can use it correctly. It works on a yes-no binary system, all right? But us human beings, we're clever, aren't we? So clever, we use our brain and we've got yes, no, and as human beings we put in maybe or what if, right? So we wonder why we get headaches and get anxious, because your brain is like a computer. It can only work if you give it 100% of the information required to make a decision. Okay? So we say, I'm going to invest in a business. Okay, so the question should be, do I want to invest in a business? Yes or no? Simple, isn't it? Yes. Then you go into the next arena and you ask the next question. But we don't. We go, I'm going to invest in a business. And we go, well, funny. What happens if this happens? And what happens if that happens? And we start doubting what we're going to do because we're giving the brain insufficient information to make a decision. Does that make sense? So that is where all your anxiety and your headaches come from. The fact that you're asking yourself questions and you don't know the answers, right? So here's a little tip. If you cannot answer yes or no to the question you're asking yourself, sling it in the bin or bring it back until you can ask yes or no, and then just do a progressive thing through till you come to an answer. Don't deal in what ifs, right? Now, I don't know how certain things work, okay? But I'm telling you that I've been dealing in this stuff for 25 years, okay? And during that time, I have met people, I've worked with people, and every single person that has listened to the information that I'm going to give you in 6.5 minutes time, every single person that's listened and adopted that has had success. And actually I've got a young lady here, Chrissy, who I've worked with for quite a while, who's adopted this, and how's things been in your life, Chrissy?
They've just gone off completely beyond anything I've ever thought of. My life has completely changed. I'm helping so many people and I've got confidence.
There you go. How bad's that? She wouldn't say boo to a goose a little while ago. She'd stand up and have a fight with Mike Tyson now, wouldn't you, Chris? Anyway, so Everyone says to me when I start explaining the secret for success, how does it work? Right? And without getting too technical, I tell you I don't know. I just know it does. But taking the logic, if you can't tell me how it works, it won't work. Can I borrow that a minute? If you can't tell me how it works, it won't work. What are we all doing with these? I ain't got a clue how that works, have you? You know how that works, but you'll have to come up and do a class of yourself. Well, how we get the pictures across the world and what happens and how all those different things. So by the logic of saying, if I don't know how something works, it won't work, throw them in the bin. Because they ain't going to work, are they? Because I don't know how they work, so it shouldn't work. So that is how stupid the question is. When you say to yourself, yeah, all right, Croz, lovely, thanks a lot for the information, but if you can't tell me how it works, it don't work. I just go on the fact that over the last 25 years, I've dealt with all sorts of people. People with absolute bundles of money, people with no money and all that. It doesn't matter. This works for everybody, but you mustn't question why, and you mustn't ask how. You've just got to say, well, that geezer there, I trust him. Who trusts me? No one. Oh, good. Oh, two of you. Oh, that's right. I ain't done a very good job so far. And you don't trust me, eh? Because that's part of the thing. If you don't trust me, there's no way you're going to believe what I say. So this is why we started off where I said you've got to wait until I get to the end before you tell me how horrible I am and how stupid I am, right? Anyway, let's get on to what happens. Let us get on to what happens. Who wants the absolute guaranteed 100% fail-proof recipe for success? Hands up. Right, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Now we spoke about the holiday, didn't we? Alright? This is what I want you to do now. You must create in your life is something that I call the clear mental image. Right? That means where you're headed. Our brain, our life, our subconscious and all our being needs somewhere to go. Who has got a clear mental image of where they want to go in life? Right, Rob. You've got an image of where you think you can go based on the information you've got today. And that's what we do. Because most people, when they do this process, they have their fingers crossed, but they don't actually stretch themselves to create that image. They just think, oh, that'll be alright, like, yeah, you know, because they start saying, how will it happen? We don't know how it's going to happen, and we don't care. All we know is it will. And I had a young lady come up to me the other day, I worked with 18 months ago, and she's in a position now where she would have cut her right arm off if I'd have said, in 18 months' time you're going to be there. She created a clear mental image, and she's actually arrived there now. But she come up to me and said, Croz, I'm going to start doing this and this. I said, just relax. 18 months ago you'd have died to get to that position. Now you're there, you're all well known. But that's bad programming. You see, what we're doing is we're associating hard work with money. And if you ever see a sentence with hard work and money in the same sentence, it's wrong, because they ain't connected. Hard work and money are not connected, trust me. All the richest people I know don't do a bloody thing, right? So hard work and money are not connected, because if they were, all the labourers on the building sites would be the richest people around the town, wouldn't they? But they're not. So don't get confused, and don't get to a place and then start getting all jittery because you don't understand being able to relax. You've got to relax to make all these things work. So what I want you to do is I want you to clearly create a clear mental image, right? And that must not include money. Here's this twist. That image has got to be created with what you're going to do with your money, right? Because you could shortchange yourself. You know, money sort of, one day it's worth this, especially if you're in the bitcoins, and one day it's worth that, and the next way it's worth nothing. So don't money, just put what it is you want to do, right? Clear, crystal clear, and make it what you want, not what you think you can get, right? Because if you knew how all this worked, you'd be there already. So just treat yourself, have it like a holiday, think about it, and then latch onto it. Let me just have a quick sip of water. Right. So, you've all got your clear mental image. Anyone got any problems with that? Creating? You're very... Don't matter, listen, if it's what you want, it doesn't matter how many things, as long as it's clear to you, right? If it looks like a jumble sale, that ain't no good. It's got to be clear and it's got to be what you want. Now listen, pay attention, because I'm so serious about how powerful this is, okay? Now you know where you're going. Most people get up every day and haven't got a bloody clue why, where they're going or anything. Now that's a terrible indictment, isn't it? That you get up every day without knowing where you're going. You wouldn't jump in your car and just drive up the road and hope to arrive somewhere, would you? What do? Nowadays we set the old sat-nav, don't we? So we know where we're going. We don't just sort of go off on the off chance. It's the same as with your life. And if you, up to date, have been running through your life without a clear mental image of where you're going, wake up, right? Because you must know where you're going. Then what happens? This is it. Make now. Who's that? Eh? Oh, is it? Make now where you want to be. Right? Who is really happy now? Right, that's good. Good, I can't argue with that. 2 out of 50. Not a real great percentage. But listen, who is saying, I'll be happy when this happens or that happens in the future? Who's saying that? Right, let me tell you something. Big secret. You cannot head towards happiness. You can only take happiness with you. Right? Once you're happy and content, everything else works. 25 years ago, when I first started doing this, I coined the phrase, wherever happiness goes, success and wealth are sure to follow. Because the more relaxed you are, the more you will attract to you. When you chase something, what happens normally? What happens? It runs away. But we chase money, we chase a partner, we chase time, everything. Life's too fast at the moment. You've got to slow down, right? Most people that adopt this can't understand that they're doing less but earning more. Because when you're working flat out, you're not working at your optimum level, right? Now we need a certain amount of stress in our life. People say, oh no, stress is bad. Stress is excellent, but only for short periods of time. And they always say, give a job to a busy man, don't they? Because he's in what they call the optimum stress zone. And he's doing everything, and everything he's doing turns to gold. Who's been in the point where everything they touch turned to gold? Everything they did worked out. You are at the optimum stress. But, like an athlete trains, right? And then he goes along to the stadium, and he does his race, and when he's finished, what does he do? He stops and relaxes, he warms down, he stops and relaxes. He don't keep running, does he? Which is what we tend to do, because things are going so well at optimum stress level, we think, oh, this is handy, I'll go more and more and more and more. And then you get your anxiety, your depression and your stress, right? So you've got to be in control of things. When things are going well, you're normally at optimum stress. That's good, but don't push it too far. You must always optimum stress. Think of an athlete, training, race, relax, then build up again, and you'll find that you will achieve so much more by relaxing in between instead of just trying to go flat out all the time. Because our brain has been programmed so incorrectly that we think if we're wearing ourselves out, things are happening, but they ain't. Who gets home at night and they're really worn out and ain't achieved anything? Who's had that happen? Right? We all do, don't we? We do. I can't understand it. I've knocked my pipe out, I've worked hard all day and nothing's happened. Because we're doing a bit of this, bit of this, bit of this, running around. Because we've been educated to think that hard work and speed and rushing about is equated to achieving things. It ain't. The most you're going to achieve is if you take this information on and you start relaxing. In fact, if you only take 3 things away from this meeting, the words relax, the second thing that you take away is relax, and the third thing you take away, I bet you can even guess what. Relax. That's it. Relax, relax, relax. And when you're on the third relax, your brain will be functioning correctly. So when you're relaxed, you think, you see, your brain is now working at maximum output when you're relaxed. And it's working at its worst when you're stressed. So you see what's happening here? You're relaxing and your brain's going to give you all those ideas that jumped into your head when you were on holiday. It's going to give you all that information, right? For nothing. So you're going to appear like you're doing more, but you're actually doing less because the brain's doing the work and working correctly. So you must make now where you want to be. That is so important. You cannot head towards happiness. It don't work. You must take happiness with you. So make where you are where you want to be, and if you've got any problems or things at the moment, sort them out now. Be honest with yourself, go into your brain, ask yes, no questions about it. None of this, what if this happens, what if that happens, just yes, no answers. And if you can't get a yes, no answer, it means you haven't got enough information to get a result. Dump it until such time as it presents itself as a real problem. Nature and the universe have got a wonderful way of when you have got a problem, it will give you the tools and information to deal with it. What it can't do is give you the tools and information to deal with something when it's still in your head and it don't actually exist. And that's what we all do. We try and solve problems that don't exist. So make now where you want to be. Make sense so far? Right. Now, the biggest bogey we got is this. And I had a real problem with this because when I was 43 years old, I lost everything. And I had a company worth many, many millions of dollars. I lived in Australia at the time, and a dear friend of mine nicked it off me. I sort of allowed it because I made him a director and give him free rein because I trusted him like a son, and he ended up white-handing me. Anyway, I lost everything. And when I was trying to get back into the game, I started making stupid decisions because when I gathered everything up, I had $250,000 and I thought I was skinned. Everyone around me thought I was rich, but I didn't. Do you see, it's a perspective, right? A perception of wealth. From where I'd fallen, 250 grand wasn't going to cut it, but everyone else thought, oh, we should make 250 grand. So I started making stupid decisions, right? And I spent all day not doing things properly. I spent all day imagining what I'm going to do with the bloke who nicked my business. Right? So that was clever, wasn't it? I spent every day, maybe 23 hours a day, wondering what horrible things I could do with him, and 1 hour a day trying to earn a living. So, whatever it is in your past, you normally bring the bad things from the past as excuses for why things are going wrong now. So whether it's a divorce, whether it's money, or whatever happened with that person's done to you, or what, you know, the thing that you're saying, oh, if it hadn't been for that divorce settlement, this business would be working so well now. Rubbish. Rubbish. Anything that you've got in the past, dump it. Don't drag it around. Just visit the past for the lesson that you learn. Make sense? You bring the lesson that you've learned through to now, because that's going to be valuable later on. Because hopefully, mind you, I've seen people who've been married 3 or 4 times, can't work that one out, but the thing is, hopefully you're going to learn from the lessons that happened in the past. So, There you go. That's the three things. That's all you've got to do. Know where you're going, right? Make now where you want to be and get rid of the past so you don't spend all day trying to solve things that don't exist, right? Now you're ready to rock and roll. Who has ever said, I wish I had been in the right place at the right time? Come on, you can be honest with me, I'm medically trained. Right. I wish I'd been in the right place at the right time. Now, do you know what? With this system, you can't be in the wrong place. See what happens? Because you know where you're going, opportunities are always there. But you walk past them because they don't make any sense. So when you know where you're going, what happens with the opportunities? They make sense. So if you see something that's not relevant to where you're going, you ignore it. It's like if you want to open a shop, right, and you need an empty shop, how many shops would you see driving through London? Bloody thousands of them, wouldn't you? How many would I see? I'd see them all. But you know what would happen? They wouldn't register. Why? Because I don't need a shop. It's called your reticular activating system. It's like when you buy a red car, you go, oh, I never realised there were so many red cars on the road. Have you had that? Where you sort of bought something. I hope it never happens when you buy a new dress. You walk to a party and everyone's got the same dress on. Oh dear. Anyway, so there you go. So the only reason that you see them is because it makes sense. But I see them, but I don't need them. So it's it sorts itself out. Does that make sense? So when you see an opportunity, you're only going to take the opportunities that you need. But also, you see, most of you at the moment are here, lost, right? Because you haven't got a destination, right? You're not lost. You can't be lost if you don't know where you're going, can you? So all you are here. So when you're here, if you don't know where you're going, you can go anywhere. So it don't matter. It could be dead end, it could be anything, because you don't know where you're going, so you just take any road. Does that make sense? So when you know where you're going, you know where you know it makes sense. So if you're here and you've gone off track, which you do, life throws some curveballs at us, you're going to go off track. But because you know where you're going, you can get back on track. Okay? Now, who's ever been asked to give a business plan to a bank to get a loan? Hey, what a load of rubbish. A business plan. A business plan has never, ever, ever worked. Yet the banks insist that you tell them all the mythical stories about how much you're going to earn. You've got to be flexible. So with this, sling any business plan you got in the bin. Because if you know where you're going, every single thing on your journey will unfold. And as it unfolds, it will make sense. Okay? Because you know where you're going. So, actually, we're on half an hour, but basically, that, my friends, is the perfect recipe for success. If you follow that, okay, and just allow your mind to work properly, I guarantee things will change in every part of your life, in every part of your business. Because at this point in time, guys, you ain't using your brain correctly. You're making hard work of it. So the three things you've got to take away are relax, relax, relax. Thanks very much. So, has anyone got any questions? Has anyone got any questions? And if you ask me how it works, we're going to have a fight. Because I told you, I don't know. I just know it does. No questions? Okay.
How did you come to understand this?
Right, that's a good question. That's a great question, right? How did I come to understand it? Well, I tell you how I come to understand it, because when I was 43 years old, as I told you, I was skinned. And actually, with the 250 grand that I had, I worked 2 years to get rid of it. Because I just made so many mistakes, because everything in the back of my mind was to just get even with the guy, right? So when I was actually skinned, you'd have had to dig over 100 foot deep to get level with me when I was broke. I'm talking broke. Absolutely gone for all money. And then I searched the teachings of our mind, and I studied a book called The Science of Getting Rich. And that gave this plan of how you can sort of overcome things, and the power of relaxing, the power of forgiving, the power of gratitude. They're all important things in life. So why I teach it now, because I can identify with every single person, because I was that man. I was skinned, and I was a multi-million-dollar company to nothing, right? When you actually have been in business, you'll find, and this is something that very, very quickly, in life, we all seem to stand down here. I'll put some big boots on here. We all stand here with a grumpy old face, looking up here, because that's where we want to be, all right? And we all want to skip the steps, right? We all want to go from here to there. The only trouble is that if you do that, it's like a pools winner. If they're an idiot, when they win the pools, they just become an idiot with money, right? So they all of a sudden become up here and they start getting all the phone calls. Oh, Bill, lend us a few quid. You won the pools. My wife's got to have her leg off and I'd like to get a prosthetic. Right, you get all the phone calls, and he tumbles down here like that because he's not used to having money. Yet if someone had earned it and got a few million quid up here, they ain't gonna get into too much trouble because they know the value of it. And if they fall back here, guess what? They've been here before, so they can get back. But like the guy that nicked my business, he went from here to there, but he didn't know any of the steps. So when things started going wrong, he fell to there, and you'll be pleased to know he fell to there, and then he fell to there, to there, to there, and he ended up skinned. Whereas if he'd have asked me in the first place, can I have the business, I said, with my blessing, just give us a few quid and you can have it. So he took the wrong thing, but he would have had the benefit of my knowledge of how I built the business, which was the protection. So never try and skip the steps. Don't try and rush things, okay? Make where you are, where you want to be, and then you'll naturally go to the next step. Don't be in too much of a hurry. Stop. Smell the roses, right? Don't be in too much of a hurry, because that's where all your problems start, rushing about. Any other questions? Okay, that question was, the young lady said that she knows where she wants to go, but she's having trouble convincing other people. Now you are going to bump into thousands of people in your life that are going to tell you that they know how to do something better or it won't work, right? What you do to dream stealers is ignore them. That's all you can do. And the thing is, what you do is you educate them by doing what you want to do and making it a success. If you've got that, you see, a dream stealer is basically like the past. It's nagging at you every day, and you've got your battle sword drawn trying to fight the dream stealer and proving that you haven't got to prove anything to anyone, only to yourself, okay? And if you prove to yourself you can do it, then they'll see you doing it and they'll come across. But don't spend any time trying to convert dream stealers. All right, with my people who are in now, they're going to get it ready for the next one. Thanks a lot, guys, and I hope that's helped. Thank you. Oh, and if you want a book, there it's got all the stories in there, what happened to me and everything. And it's £3 off today, it's 10 quid. If anyone wants it, and I'll sign it to you, but it's a good read and it will definitely help you in business. Thank you.